Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
First of all, let me sympathize with the people of North Tongue, South Tongue, Central Tongue, Ada, the K2 areas, and all affected areas. My worry is not just about the challenges they are being confronted with now. And my worry is not just about the flooding situation ongoing currently. In fact, just this morning, I understand, some levels of water have been spilled again. And they keep opening and opening, and nobody knows when this entire situation is going to end. But you see, my major worry, is the aftermath of this particular crisis. There are many people who have toiled for over 40 years, putting resources together, buying things in their homes, setting up, farms, building, houses and all of these. And the question these people keep asking themselves is that after this entire situation, after this entire crisis, what is in stock for me? What is the future for myself and my generation? What are the next steps I'm going to take in order to go back to how I used to be, or even closer to how I used to be? These are the fundamental questions all these people keep asking themselves. And on interviews I have watched, I have realized that these are people who have been left hopeless. These are people who have been left to their own fate, and nobody seems to know the next step he or she is going to take after this entire situation. The second aspect are the measures that we're taking. I have listened to workers from the VRA corridors. In fact, the VRA boss himself. And one of the things he boldly said was that notices were given to these people to relocate. And that as far back as May, they started hinting the people of whatever spillage was going to take place somewhere around September, October. And in October, they wrote letters to them and asked the district assemblies to announce that it's time to relocate because they were going to start a spillage. The first question I wanted anyone to ask him was that if you ask the people of Central Tongue, North Tongue, and all other affected communities to relocate, without giving them an area, without giving them temporal structures to relocate into, are you telling them to relocate and go swim in the Akuffo Addo bridge? Or are you telling them to relocate and call their family members all around the country? So people who have family members in Togo, call them and relocate to Togo because you are going to spill the dam. Are you telling them to relocate to Tamale? Some who have family members in Kumbungu, someone who knows you, Akwesi, should call you and say, I'm coming to your house because they've asked me to relocate. Look, Apioti, that was, a natural disaster. In fact, not even a natural disaster. It was an occurrence out of somebody's negligence. Government immediately took pragmatic steps to provide temporary structures for the people. This is not the first time we are having such a situation in this country. Governments upon governments have taken steps to relocate people who will be affected in one way or the other by a decision of government. The recent very expensive hole that was dug around the Parliament House, when they were going to start its decade.
Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about the abandoned National Cathedral. When they were going to commence works on it, High Court judges that were there were relocated, and they were provided structures. They were even taken into high plush buildings just because government was going to commence work. Why is it that another decision that was going to be taken by government in the Akuffo Addo Dam spillage, you only send notices to people and tell them relocate, find your place of abode. Oh, so you wanted the people of K2 North, you wanted the people of Central Tongue, North Tongue to go into the bush and go and join Fulanis because, they don't deserve government setting up temporary structures for them. I think that entire argument is flawed. And government, the VRA and NADMO erred so long as that is concerned. It is also important that we revisit the very insensitive and irresponsible speech by Mr. Akuffo Addo. And I think that for once, however, for once on this platform, I wish to put it to him that, Mr. President, you erred. Mr. President, you engaged in an act of irresponsibility without any apologies. And I think that whatever statements you made there must be condemned, and condemned in real terms. How do you go to people, look straight in their faces, and tell them that even though they don't vote for you, you will still come to their aid? What was that supposed to mean? Was that to say that people who don't vote for you do not naturally or do not mandatorily deserve your honor? Was that to say that people who don't vote for you do not deserve to be in crisis where you visit them and use their own taxes to salvage their situation? But for the fact that President Akuffo Addo appears to be some sort of a walking contradiction, in the beginning of his own speech, he said he's not here to do politics and that he's here to save the situation. But Akwesi, before the man ended, he quickly said, I hope that next time you vote for me. And I said, you were the same person who said you were not here to do politics. That before you could end your speech, you were telling the people that you hope that next time they will vote for you, all because you've come to see their faces. In saying this, Mr. Akuffo Addo forgot, President Akuffo Addo, that at every branch in Central Tongue, he has 5 branch executives. By saying this, he forgot that at every any of these constituencies, Central Tongue, North Tongue, South Tongue, Ada, and all other adjoining communities, he had 19 constituency executives who, at least in one way or the other, had been displaced. These are people who continuously work for your party. Admitted that you want to even go on a political spear. At least, are you not concerned about your own branch executives? Are you not concerned about your own constituency executives? And then you go there, you look into the faces of people who are struggling, people who do not even know what fate, they have in their next steps, people who are virtually losing hope in life. And then all you can look at them and tell them is that even though you don't vote for me, I am still here. And I hope that next time you vote for me. Very irresponsible statement any president of the republic can ever make. And I think that we should unanimously on this platform condemn that ill-thought-through statement by Mr. Akuffo Addo. And never again should he repeat that. I sit here and I cry this way because tomorrow it could be my community. And simply because we don't vote for them, they will sit down and say, oh, even though you don't vote for us, we are still coming to your aid. President Akuffo Addo, you are not doing the people of Volta region any charity. Or you are not doing the people of Volta region any, willing or voluntary concern. It is incumbent on you as president to use the taxes they pay to salvage their situation, especially in such times of need. And I think that if that properly goes down the scale of Mr. Akuffo Addo, he should be apologizing at the next available conference. He would be addressing the nation. Because it's also important that at the beginning of President Akuffo Addo's statement, he made mention of the fact that he was in America and that he had to speak to his chief of staff and ask that when he comes down, when he touches base, he would visit the people of Mepe and all other affected communities. One of the fundamental questions I wanted anyone seated there to ask him was, where is Bawumia? At least, once the president leaves the grounds of this country, Alhaji Bawumia automatically takes over as president. And in the face of any emergency situation, with the vice president having the people of this country at heart, he ought to respond and then address the situation before the president comes. Mind you, the SPILLAGE didn't start in October. It started in September. From September till date, today, 19th, the SPILLAGE has been ongoing on a daily basis. So does Dr. Bawumia want to tell us that in the absence of his president, he cannot sit in for him. He cannot stand in for him. And if he wants to say that he was on campaign, are you aware that when former President Akuffo lost his wife, Madam Bawumia issued a statement stating that he had suspended his tour and that he was heading back for Accra to come and sign the book of condolence and sympathize with the former President Akuffo. In instances like that, he was commended. At least he was sensitive enough to say that, let me end my campaign, let me come and sympathize with former President Akuffo. Why is it that in this particular Volta region situation, Dr. Bawumia pretended that he did not live within the 4 cycles of this country? Why is it that the people of Volta region were drowning? They needed a word, they needed a statement, they needed a representation from government to at least tell them that we feel your plights. And Dr. Bawumia was somewhere. For more than 10 days, the vice president was nowhere to be found. Such an irresponsible, such an insensitive character. And he did not, even for a minute, think that the people of the Volta region needed his presence there. But if you remember, when Sierra Leone had a similar flooding situation, and there was a mudslide, if you remember, Madam Bawumia, when they were asking who wanted to lead a delegation of $1 million to Sierra Leone, he was the first to raise his hand. He was the one who sat in the cargo plane with this goose, a vice president, and went to Sierra Leone, and he was distributing goodies from the government of Ghana, just because he had to do with another nation. Oh, it is popularity. Let me go out there and make a name because I'm Malam, because I'm Alaji, because I'm vice president. But when it had to do with the Volta region, he did not, for a second, remember that he needed to come to them. When it's Sierra Leone, $1 million goes. When it is Volta region, we don't care because Akuffo Addo says they don't vote for us. This is the highest level of insensitivity any vice president can pretend. Yesterday, I heard that he landed there in a helicopter. What are you going to do? What are you going to tell the people? Many of the people have relocated. Many of the people have been displaced. What again are you going to tell the people? These are the questions I want to ask Alhaji Bawumia. You have acted insensitive, you've acted irresponsible, you've acted unconcerned, and all of a sudden, you let them bring a cargo helicopter and you fly there to go and tell them what? He landed and was waving school children. He has forgotten that hospitals have been submerged in this water. He's forgotten that people are swimming today with dead bodies. In fact, a mortuary of over 200 dead bodies are floating in the water. Schools have been submerged. And he gets there and all he thinks about is the politicking of the entire matter and telling the people to next time remember and vote for them. You see, I am sad in this matter because as I speak this morning, over 30,000 people have been displaced in only North Tongue. As I speak this morning, over 18,000 people in Central Tongue have been displaced. As I speak this morning, people in Ada, in the Kotu Enclave, do not even know where to sleep. Yesterday I watched an interview, and a young, fine lady was saying, stating very sadly, that for more than 3 days, she's not taking a bath. And unfortunately, with the greatest of respect, she's even in her menses. And she does not know where to even get water and take a bath. Yesterday, I listened to the assemblyman of Sokoi, another Sabbath, who stated that they are relying on the water from the lake to drink. Now there are dead bodies in the water, over 200 dead bodies. Where do you expect them to get water? And amidst all of this, Akwesi, President Akuffo Addo does not see the need, the commonsensical need, I beg your pardon, to declare a state of emergency in the Volta enclaves. I commend members of parliament like the Honorable Okujato Ablakwa and the Honorable other member of parliament, the Honorable Woyomi, and all other members of parliament who have on a single hand declared their constituencies in states of emergency. This morning, I understand the tanker drivers union sent in some donations. Private individuals are doing their best. There's a caravan a mobile vehicle on the water, saving lives and properties. And the government of the day, all the work in Akuffo Addo's head, all he thinks about is how to win the next election. I find this sad and most unfortunate because as I speak today, I don't even know the fate of people in Bipe and Yape. Are you aware that people at Bipe Bridge are currently submerged in water? In the Savannah region, people in Yape are currently submerged in water. And many of those people do not know their fates. And just when they heard President Akuffo Addo tell the people of Volta region that because you don't vote for us, if you next time vote for us, you don't vote for us, and talks about an entire political situation, those people do not even know their fates. Because of course, they don't vote for the MPP. They vote for the NDC and Honorable John Jenapo is their MP. As it stands now, all those people do not even know whether the government will come to their aid or they won't come to their aid. This is the situation we find ourselves in. This is the current crisis.
Right.
This is the current pathetic situation. And we will thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for at least giving them a commonsensical situation. It is time to declare a state of emergency in the Volta region. It is time to, attract international donors. It is time to, trigger international partners and request their immediate support, because on a daily basis, people are getting hopeless, people are getting demoralized, people